All right. Welcome back to Real Talk. Hope everyone had a wonderful long weekend. We've got another one coming up in 2 weeks if it wasn't long enough. I think that's Canterbury Show Day or something like that.
Another public holiday.
Yeah, another one, Nathan.
Is that right?
You bloody workers, getting all these holidays.
I just don't think it's productive for the society, man. I mean, I might sound like why, but I'm telling you, that's not productive for society. I actually don't think it's nice for people to have time off, but how many days? How many times I was talking to my parents actually that day, it's just good to have. I said, yeah, I understand. It's what happens. It makes it hard for business owners when they have to pay for the holiday that people don't actually not working. But then also, how many of these do you need?
Yeah.
Right, it's like 4 weeks for the thing. If they make it easier for business owners, it's inevitable. The economy is just going to do better, right?
Yeah, and then the employees take advantage of it, right? So they'll be like, "Oh, I've got Monday off. May as well take the 4 annual leave days off." Or over Easter, normally you have a Friday and a Monday, and then people take the whole week.
I know,
but I see it from either side. I see it from your side, and obviously, I'm an employee, and I see it from my side. Yeah,
I think I'm not against employees having time off, enjoying time with the family. I'm all for it, right? And you know that. But what happens, how many all these holidays, where do you stop? Like these Labor Weekend, these another weekend.
Matariki was introduced a few years back.
Right?
Yeah,
it's you're making it hard on people that if we're not supporting business owners, which is, I think that's what we're going to have a chat about in a minute.
Yeah.
If we're not supporting business owners, then the economy, the country is not going to do well. So if we want to get the country to do well, we need to take care of the business owners.
Yeah.
Not because I'm a business owner, but it makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but these lunatics, they do not, they don't get it.
Yeah.
But I think
you attract better talent. You got better businesses. You get people moving over here with, skill sets, and then the economy grows. But yeah.
Yes, and if you take care of the business owners will be able to give salary rises, or good businesses, good people would.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's going to be people that's like trying to squeeze everything out of the employees, but I'm not talking about those business owners. I'm talking about the business owners who wants the employees to become successful, because their success that help the business owner become successful, right?
Yeah.
So if you take care of those people, which I like to think most business owners would be like that, then the people become successful, and employees become successful, the society does better, right?
Yeah. We're very lucky over here, though. I mean, if you go to other countries like China or, they are working ridiculous hours. They're not taking days off. And they also, some of them who are working in those environments don't have a future either. They're just doing it because they have to. So yeah,
we are very blessed.
Yeah,
I think I talked about in the video that I did with or podcast that I did with Luke from Keep the Change.
Yeah,
I talked about how lucky we are in New Zealand.
That was a great little. Yeah, you read a passage actually too from your LinkedIn post. That was fantastic. Let's get into it. So this is like on the same wavelength as business owners being affected. Labor says if they're elected next year, it would introduce a 28% capital gains tax on residential and commercial properties, excluding family homes and farms. The revenue would then help fund free GP visits and healthcare. What's your take on this proposal?
I want to go back to when the Labor took over. I think it was Jacinda's 2 terms, right? Or 7 years, right? It used to be supposed to be how many years of terms? I think it's 3-year terms. Supposed to be 6 years, but she did 5 years and then resigned because she left an absolutely chaos, right?
3 years.
Right. So she left 5 years, or maybe towards the end of the 5 years, and then she left what she left a what? An absolutely chaos, right? Declining performance in public services, like we're talking about the hospitals, we're talking about the GPs, we're talking about they let so many immigrants in. Now the GPs, our family members, and I can say this. If anybody else sees it, they're like, oh, this guy's a racist and da da da. But I can say it because I'm an immigrant, right? They let immigrants in, and now why they let immigrants in? Because 95% to 98% of immigrants would vote Labour. So they brought in immigrants, and what happened is now we're having hard time getting appointments to GP. Like our families, like, we've been citizens here, and like, I'm talking about our own Kiwis.
Yeah.
They can't have an appointment. So what I'm trying to say, the next thing is wasteful spending. That shows a cavalier attitude to taxpayers' money, because if they just give money away. So what I'm trying to say is these crazy people that's saying that they're going to increase taxes, they're going to give free money away to win votes, they destroy the economy. Where we were at when Labour was in place,
Yeah.
right? If we ended up keep on going without the National coming in, we would have ended up like God knows where.
It's scary to think. I mean, and you're not an advocate of National either. You just say it how it is.
Absolutely. So I'm not a left or a right. What I'm for is like, how can we take care of our citizens and have them better life? Tax, less government, lower taxes means prosperity, not more taxes. These crazy people that's trying to get votes, like Chris Hipkins, I look at the guy, I'm like, man, you can't even run a fish and chip shop if I let you have a fish and chip shop, right? And by the way, I've got a friend of mine who runs a fish and chip shop. He runs it
And
very,
Sumner,
very
right?
well. Yeah,
I went to that the other day. Great. Yeah.
Adam, amazing guy. He runs the business so good. But if we let Chris Hipkins run that fish and chip shop, he'll go broke in no time. So,
Well, you just sent me an article. I'll actually say his name because you can come on the podcast. Jordan Williams, Executive Director, New Zealand Taxpayers. He put in the article, dive a bit deeper into this policy, capital gains. If you've got a home office or a workshop on your lifestyle block, Hipkins is coming for you. If you head overseas or move into a rest home and it takes a while to sell your house, Hipkin is coming for you with his 28% capital gains tax. If your family owns a batch and changes who's on the title, Hipkins is coming for you.
Crazy. So here's the deal. Limited government is the cure. The government should be limited to a very simple functions. We've spoken this about in the past. Number one, defending the country against foreign enemies. Number two, to protect the individual citizen against abuse and coercion of other citizens. Number three, define the rule of the game we play. For example, what's a private property? Number four, it's appropriate for the government to provide a mechanism for adjudicating disputes about the meaning of those rules in a judicial system. These should be the only full function of the government. On the average, anything the government does costs twice, at least as much as opposed to if it's done by a private enterprise. So those are the things they shouldn't get involved in hiring taxes and bringing all these policies, because what happens is after, like we see, like 2 terms, not even 2 terms of Labour in the government, we were in an absolutely chaos.
Yeah. Go back and watch that video we did on the real estate cycle.
Yeah.
And it shows when Labour came into power, when National came into power, what happened with the house prices, the unemployment, the inflation, all the effects, the interest rates. And it's just a trend. National comes back in. Yeah.
And it's fascinating. Exactly right. That's the trend. Every time Labour comes to party, what they do, they start partying like crazy teenagers, and then National comes in, cleans it up, and then it's not even clean, and then these people get back on in the seats, and then they destroy it. Like teenagers destroy the house, and then the parents come and trying to clean it, right?
Yeah.
It shouldn't be like this.
But
We
it's never
can't-
the same, and it's never the same, and it continues decade after decade.
People are getting poorer and
Yeah.
poorer. So we're talking about what happens is when that happens, when they start partying, they give money away and they increase the taxes and destroy the economy. What happens is the poor gets poorer. So they say that they will help the poor middle class. That's the demographic that they destroy.
Yeah.
So be careful who you vote for, man.
Yeah.
Be very careful who you vote for, because we don't want to have. I like to see this country do well. It disappoints me when I see.
Is there any country that's doing it well though? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, and people say that, but yes, there are. Look at. Well, America's good example to look at, right?
Recently, what's been happening?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's what the guy came in, who's a patriot, who cares about his people, and look where they're at now. They're taking billions and billions or trillions in tariff.
Yeah.
They lower the taxes. There's no taxes on overpay. Brilliant idea. So there is. So they're doing good. Australia is destroying it because the teenagers are running the government.
Well, it's crazy. Like my mate's over there, and he's been trying to buy a house forever, and he can afford one. But he says, "I'm expecting it to go down the property market, but it just keeps going up." He went to an auction the other day. He bidded up to 1.1 million, just missed out, and then the owners, the vendors, went, "No, we don't want to go ahead with it," and they put it back on the market for 1.3 million. It's crazy.
So
the prices.
we were talking about. So National was doing pretty good, got things in order. The inflation's down. We're down to pretty close to 2%.
Yeah.
There we should have stayed. And now, because these lunatics are telling people that we're going to give you free money, we're gonna increase the taxes, we're going to do this and this and this. Now these guys are trying to win votes as well, obviously, right? They don't want to go out of business.
No.
But National want to come back again on, right?
Yeah.
So they are adjusting once again. They're dropping the interest rate. So what I don't want is like exactly where you see it. Your friends can't afford to buy houses there, or maybe they can afford it, but the price will keep going up. It should be coming down. It should be coming down.
Yeah.
For us, our kids and the grandkids and the great-grandkids to be able to afford houses, it needs to come back. But unfortunately, they don't want the change because they want to get elected.
Well, the Reserve Bank, just on the house prices, the Reserve Bank says house prices are now within sustainable levels. From the 1st of December this year, banks will be able to lend up to 25% of new owner-occupier loans and deposits under 20%. So they're trying to make it even easier for people to get into the market.
Yeah. And that isn't ideal. We want the prices of properties. I think with the last video that I did, we spoke about in the keep the change video that we did, that I talked about what's happening, what are these reserve banks and the politicians are selling us. They're destroying us, our family unit, the economy, yet they're telling us you've got it better than you used to 30, 35 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So somebody needs to come in to attend to this, Bobby, because I'm I sound like, oh, it's terrible, but it is terrible.
Yeah, and people will leave the country.
But what I'm saying is that, Bobby, it doesn't affect me because I own houses, right? I'm not bragging, but I'm just saying this.
Yeah.
I own houses. What happens, it's difficult for our kids and their grandkids to buy houses. So what worries me is our kids and their grandkids. It's very difficult to get into the property ladder now.
It is, yeah.
So for us, you own an investment property, you own a house. Okay, you've got into a ladder. But you got to think about, we want our kids, Benjamin, to be able to own a house, right? And comfortably.
Yeah. It's sad. It is sad.
But with that said, right, it's sad, but thankfully, we can vote for the right person to at least help us a little bit. Like, not buy into the rubbish that they sell you. If you don't own a house, oh yeah, they're going to increase the tax. Great, the rich going to get destroyed. But no, you won't be able to get into the property ladder if you don't own houses, right? Because if these lunatics come back to power, they will make it even worse. Like they have been, as the stats shows, right? And like I said, you said, I'm not a right and a left person. I'm looking at what's right, what works for us, for the country. I'm suggesting what we should do, what we should be mindful of. Don't buy into people's these lunatic politicians' policies. Read their policies and see what's the best for you.
So next year, let's play out a scenario. If you were advising the next government, what's one bold policy you'd push for?
Oh man, put me on the spot. There's a bunch.
Okay, we'll give you top 3. Yeah, got top. Or maybe you got 50, but
I've written the policies that how I would run.
Yeah.
Or if I was to advise the government, okay, there are some policies. So first of all, what I want to say is limited government. That's what they need to do. They don't stop getting involved in everything, increasing taxes, and so the 4 thing that I suggested, that's what they should stick at.
Yeah.
But if I was to,
if you were to advise, what's some policies?
So the education system, I would change the education system, voucher, public school system, like the universities, so parents have got choices, so it not goes to the school system can control. So I'll voucher, rather than giving the money to for example, West Milton School, that's where the family is, because they get certain amount paid to them for pupil. If there's 5 people, 500 people, they get per pupil, they get paid, right? I'll give that voucher to the parents so they can choose whatever school they can send their kids to. Why? Because if I've got a choice to send my kid to whatever school I want to send him to, they become like private schools.
Yeah.
So schools, every school would step their game up to teach the kids how you want them taught. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. Yeah. I get what you're saying, because they all get funding, right?
They all get funding,
and some get more or less funding or more. But so you're saying put that money into the hands of the parents,
correct,
to make the decision,
so they can choose. And then now it's more of a let's call it a capitalist society, because now your school, let's say West Milton School, they got to step their game up to become more attractive.
Yes.
It's like if our business here in Najib is not great, we don't give service like we say we do, and all those things, that our customer goes someplace else.
Yeah, so you're making it more competitive amongst the schools.
100%.
And they can give their money to whatever school they feel will be best for their child.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's teachers who work hard, they get paid more than the teachers who are wasting our kids' times.
Yeah.
So those 2 things. I've got to legalize drugs like alcohol, because if they legalize drugs, it won't be just sold by the drug dealers. People, number one, I feel like when people have options, they just majority of people won't do drugs. People are going to go do drugs anyways.
Yeah.
But if they legalize just like alcohol, I feel like there'll be less gangs involved in doing those things.
Well, they did this in Portugal, and I think they found crime rates went down, less gang attacks.
I didn't know that. So there you go. Tax codes to incentivize the right behavior. More families, mum and dad in the picture. I will stop financing, rewarding women having kids out of wedlock. If you're having kids out of wedlock, there's no more benefits, food stamps, welfare. I'm not going to incentivize. If an action is rewarded and an action is an action is repeated, right? And most kids having issues because mom and dad aren't around to raise them. We want mom and dad around to be together. We want a nucleus family like we used to back in the days. It's proven that it works better, it's safer, and better for kids and better for the society and our economy. If you have 3 or more kids, we'll give you tax incentives and welfare only if you're married to the same wife or husband for the 18 years of these kids being raised by your father and mother, raising that kids together.
Yeah.
That's the next one.
Well, stronger families, it's proven, you know, if they stay together, the kids are brought up better, and that's just facts. Like, it's...
You can't argue it. You can't argue it. But because these politicians are so weak, they want to get elected and re-elected. They don't bring those things in. And that's why I think I'll never become a politician, because these things are so, as they call it, controversial, right?
Yeah.
It works. It worked 100 years ago, or 20 years ago, 50 years ago. But, yeah, the big pharmaceuticals, there's 195 countries in the world, and only 2 that allows for the big pharma to advertise on TV. Are we crazy? We're following the states, right? We need to make sure that drugs are selling actually works before we give them to any of our citizens. And there will be margin if what we buy drugs from the pharmaceuticals, they make it for 10 cents, they sell it for $100, $200. So these needs to be, pharmaceuticals needs to have, you can only have certain amount of margin.
Yeah, I mean, you're seeing that in America now with all the legalized pharmaceuticals that are destroying people's lives.
The next one is retirement age to 70. And listen, let me finish this to the end.
I don't like that. Yeah.
Let me tell you. Let me tell you what I'm trying to suggest though. Retirement age to 70-year-old, and any extra years you work after 65, we are running out of, because we're running out of money. 65 on superannuation, and caveat is for every dollar you make up to 200,000 after you turn 65. You pay 0 in tax.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good idea. You're incentivizing them to work longer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
6 years later, you can have $1 million. People are living longer. If that's in place, they will take care of their health better to be able to live longer. It's beneficial for everyone. We don't need to tap into superannuation because we're running out of money as a country.
Yeah.
Next one is entitlement program. I can go through this, man. There's a bunch here. Immigration, I'm talking about. I'm talking about housing.
Go. We'll do the housing one, and we'll stop there.
Housing. I'm happy to release that.
Yeah, we'll release that in the description.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Housing, people can't afford to buy homes. We need to build more starter homes. If builders are willing to build homes under 500,000, they pay 0% tax. Because we need more first homes, especially for younger generation. They cannot afford to buy houses.
What do you think about social housing? The government just announced 210 new social homes in Waikato and over 2,000 more nationwide. And then Kainga Ora, they only 12% of their homes are 1 bedroom, but most need that 1 bedroom to 2 bedroom.
I need to study how many people actually need houses.
Yeah.
I need to study that, but I actually think they should stay out of helping people, because they don't do it well anyways. They need to help people be able to buy their houses.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I know it's great to be living in a country like this because we are helping the underprivileged and people that need help. Yes, I appreciate it. We need to help them, no question about it. But I think we need to help our people who are trying to get into the houses, but they can't.
Yeah.
We need to help those. How are we going to help those is to, just like I just said, housing, let the builders. If you building houses under 600,000, you don't pay no tax.
Yeah.
Imagine how many builders are going to go, developers are going to go start building under 600,000 houses,
Yeah.
right? So those are
Brilliant.
a bunch.
Thanks, Nathan. Well, we're a little bit over there. I'm just going to finish with a subscriber question because we deal with.
And by the way, I may never become a prime minister, but if we did, I swear, the economy is going to prosper. This country being the most amazing country on the planet. I'm just putting
maybe
that
one day. Who knows? Hey, when did Trump come into power?
No, I understand it, but with my policies that I have and the way that I rather tell people what they need to know rather than what they want to hear, I can't be a politician because they're a lying bunch.
Yeah,
and I can't do it.
They'll probably corrupt you. You know,
I couldn't do it, man.
You don't know what happens behind closed doors with those politicians. It's kind of scary.
Yeah.
Just on owning investment properties in the rental market. Last question. A listener in Christchurch says their townhouse has sat vacant for 3 weeks despite a rent drop of $20, 2-bedroom townhouse. Their property manager says the rental market's pretty average. There's not much interest. Is that true? And what would you do in this situation?
Yeah, that is actually true.
Okay.
Because I've been involved in a property management department recently, and I know that is certainly the case. So talk to your property manager and ask them what would the property rent out for if she was going to price it at what level.
Yeah.
Because, and remember, Bowie, I spoke about that in the past podcast. Like, when you're buying houses in a cluster of houses or cluster of houses, you got to remember that if there's one rented down the road for $420, was on the market for $420 a week, you're never going to get $495 for yours.
No
Does
way.
it make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, because the one on the market down the road is $425, or maybe not one. In this case, it's $15 on the one on the market.
Yeah.
So what I'm suggesting to our landlords, and it makes sense to have somebody in there to pay $420 rather than having a vacant.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you have a vacant, it costs you $420 the whole lot.
Yeah.
If you don't have it vacant, at least yes, you $70 in this case. 70. He wants $495, right?
He's dropped from $520 to $499. Yeah.
Okay, so he needs to find out what else is on the market similar to his and be the cheapest. Because I'd rather have a property filled in.
Correct.
Than having it fully vacant. Because fully vacant costs you $499, right now.
Yeah.
But if you got to rent it for $450, then at least you got $450 coming in. You're not paying the whole lot. It's cost you $40 rather than costing you the whole amount.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
that's a great point. People don't look at it like that, do they? Because if you're, say, paying $2,000 a month and you just lost that whole, it's worth dropping it $40.
Exactly, because if you times that $40 by 52, how much
well,
is
you're
that?
looking at about $1,000, but then you've already missed out on $2,000. So yeah, you're saving $1,000. Yeah.
So that's the suggestion I have to my landlord. Say, hey, I know you're adamant you want to get $490, but if you end up with the property being vacant for 4 weeks, it's cost you the whole year of having it on the market for $450. Do you know what I mean? So if you just put somebody at $450, yes, not $490, but if you leave it vacant for 4 more weeks, it's like having it. I'm trying to get my head around this, but you know what I'm trying to say.
I know exactly what you're saying. Yeah, you need to. My only question to that would be: would it be difficult then increasing the rent to what it would be in a good market?
I need to do calculations. So if I do calculation, I'll be able to explain to you exactly what I mean. Right? Can I do this?
Of course, yeah.
So let's say, for example, not in his case, but let's say, for example, these properties on the market for $450 in the year is similar to yours. Your property was rented for $490 previously, right? Yeah. So now you're adamant you want to get $490, right? So $490, between $490 to $450 is $50. $40 different. Thank you. $40 difference. So $40 difference. If you did $40 different times by 52, that's $2,080, right? Yeah. So you've got the property vacant. If you drop the price by $50, it costs you $2,080 the whole year.
Yes.
Right? Now, let's see if you price it at 490, which you're probably not going to rent it for. You're probably not going to rent it out, right?
Yeah.
So let's say you price it at 490. Now, because it's worth 450, right?
Yeah.
Let's say you have it vacant for 4 weeks, right? Because obviously other properties on the market and people don't just rent property because you want 490 for it.
Yeah.
If it's worth 450, right? So times that by 4, 1800. So having it vacant for 4 weeks, it's almost like.
Yeah. And it could be longer.
And it could be longer, exactly. Because if you're asking 490 and there's 15 of them on the market for 450, you never got to rent it. So my recommendation for this, our lovely subscriber, is to drop and meet the market.
Okay. Or be a bit cheaper maybe than the market.
I agree with you. Because if you're on the market, same as the one down the road, it's still going to be, you might go with you one, they might go with somebody else. So you're going to be slightly, even $5 under the market. You find yourself a tenant. So have a tenant in there rather than having vacant. Like, being a landlord myself, and I don't like having vacant properties. Yeah.
Perfect. All right, Nathan. We'll wrap it up there. Thanks so much. And that has been Real Talk today. If you are a politician or you're in the media and you're listening to this, would love to have some politicians on the podcast.
I'd love to have Chris Hipkins on the podcast. I'd love to have Winston Peters. I'd love to have, and it'll be great because I want to have a discussion, debate with you. So how are you going to make this country better? Not what you say, because that's all bullshit. Things you guys are saying. Excuse the language. We're trying to swear in this podcast, but I get.
You don't swear anyway.
No, I don't. But I do get upset when the politician is trying to destroy our country.
Great. All right. Thanks very much, Nathan. We'll see you all next month.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.